Anyone who has pets knows that their toes need to be trimmed. Dogs and cats, horses and sheep, they all need their toes trimmed. Today I'm going to show you how to rump a sheep and how to trim their hooves. Now, there are two different common ways of rumping a sheep. First is by spinning the animal, and second is by pulling their leg out. Now, in both ways, the first step is to bend their head back. And now, second, if you're going to spin the animal, you will put your foot behind their back foot, put your hand on their rump, and you will spin them so they fall down. And then you'll cradle them between their legs, and they will sit for you fairly well depending on the animal. The second method is you will bend their head back in the same manner as the other style, but you will reach over and grab your opposite foot on the inside and pull up and through, and then you'll set them on the ground. Now, if you are trimming their feet and they get away from you but you still have them on their bottom, you can grab them by their front legs and pull them to adjust them however you need to. Now that you have the sheep on their bottom, you will take your hoof trimmers, which you can get from any tractor supply store, or you can take tree pruners, which are about the same type of tool. You will start with their foot, start at the bottom of their heel, and trim upwards. And as you go up and trim the hoof wall, you want to make a trapezoid. If you look at the foot, you can see where they have new growth, just like on your own toenails. So you're going to want to cut that new growth off. The tricky part about doing this is making sure you don't go too far and cut the animal. So now, if you cut the animal, don't be afraid. They make solutions for sheep that have zinc sulfate that will protect the sheep from bacterial infections. These solutions are different than the ones that are available for cattle and horses, which contain copper sulfate. You need to use the zinc sulfate because copper is a toxic material to the sheep. So if they get too much copper into the system, it can cause copper toxicity and they will become paralyzed and can die. So as you trim the foot, you will want to go from the top of the toe down in, and you will want to go from the outside. On the outside you want to go up. Now it is easier for me to go that method because I am left-handed, whereas if you were right-handed, it would be very easy for you to go on the inside, from the top up on the inside of the hoof, and to go from the top down on the outside of the hoof. So now, as you're trimming the hoof, you can start to clean out the manure from the animal's hoof. Cleaning out this manure will make it easier to see which part of the hoof wall has to get trimmed and which parts can stay. Now, as I mentioned before, the goal of trimming the animal's foot is to make it appear like a trapezoid. So, you'll want to have a flat bottom with no cavities for manure to get stuck in, which can cause infections, and you'll want to bring the tip to a fairly rounded point, which will keep from damaging the animal if they get stepped on or if they step on another animal. So now it's easy to tell when you're getting close to the animal's soft sole when the hoof material becomes darker. Just like a human toe, the new growth is clear or white. On the animal, as you get closer to the toe, the hoof material will become darker and will become harder to cut. So now, as you can see, as I clean out the hoof, you can see all the manure that I'm pulling out. This right here is the soft sole of the hoof, so that is what we want to try to get close to. So as we trim the hoof, we'll trim down closer and trim off the pad if necessary, so we can get to the soft sole of the foot. Now, with the animal being inside on a manure pack, you will want to trim the hoof very close to the soft sole. If the animal is going out onto pasture, you will want to leave a little bit of the hoof left over so the animal can wear that down as they walk. And now, if they're out on pasture, the amount that will grow is comparable to the amount that will get worn away. So in theory, they shouldn't need to be trimmed very often if they're out on pasture. Whereas if they are inside, they will need biannual trimming or more, depending on the species of, or depending on the breed of animal. So this foot has been properly trimmed and cleaned. There is very little hoof wall left to the soft pad, to the soft sole of the animal. The toes come to a nice rounded point, and we did not cut the animal. So the first foot is done. Now, there are only 3 feet to go. When you are new to trimming hooves, it's really easy to have someone hold the animal while you have a second person step off to the side and trim the hooves. As you become more experienced, you will be able to hold the animal yourself and trim their feet at the same time. Thank you.